computer. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Dose and Guest Thursday. We are delighted to have a new to us guest.
There we go.
Oh, what's happening? Let me shut this down. Sorry, we're having a little technological challenge. There we go. Terry Liggins is joining us, and Terry is as new to us as he is to you because we've known you now, Terry, for about 45 seconds.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for pinch hitting for us. We had a guest lined up and he had an emergency show up, and so I reached out to the network.
Yeah.
And David Whitesock said, you have to meet Terry Liggins. So here we are meeting Terry Liggins, and we could not be more pleased.
That is awesome. Thanks, David, for setting it up. It's been a pretty fast turnaround, but like I said in the email, I just appreciate being there for people when it counts, providing support for others, and just being what you want to see in the world.
Well, that's fantastic, right there.
We need more of that, so we're there for that as well. So Terry, before we get into what you're doing now, because what you're doing now is a big deal and is what we want to see in the world.
Nice.
Talk a little bit about your own journey from wherever you would like to start to your sober place.
Yeah. Well, I'm celebrating today over 3 years of abstinence from alcohol. After so many days, you kind of lose count because it's just a lifestyle that you're living now.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I can't. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been 3 years already. I know my birthday is January 15th, and so what are we about? We're probably past April 15th, or that makes February, March, April. So maybe about 39 months or something like
incredible.
that.
That's fantastic.
Just incredible.
And, it feels good because of all the rewards and the benefits that I've experienced from just taking that pivot 3 years ago. I also am abstaining from my primary drug of choice, and that's been about 6 years or so. And that started with an incarceration experience, believe it or not. Like some of us kind of get that hard stop with an incarceration experience. And that happened for me in 2015. And I was away for 14 months. And I got some mental health and some treatment support while I was away for 13 and a half of those 14 months. And when I released in 2016, I just had abstained for quite a period of time from that primary drug. And with my legal situation I was in at that time, I still had some more accountabilities I needed to finish out. But it was at that time, early in that reentry, April 2016, that I found the organization Face It Together. And Face It Together is an organization here in Sioux Falls that has peer recovery coaches, people with lived experience with addiction, dependency, habits, hangups, hurts, harms, and they are on the other side of the holdup or the hangups. Not that they're necessarily out. I don't think we're ever out. We're always in recovery, and that was just an amazing time for me, 2016, to kind of really be introduced to the word recovery. And I've been an active recovery advocate ever since then, that 2016, and then starting that alcohol abstinence journey in 2018.
Good for you.
Good for you. That's really impressive. And good on you for turning it into a vocation as well.
Yeah, it certainly has turned into the life that I live, but also the work that I do. And that's very helpful.
Sure, yes. So talk about the work that you do, Terry, because I think from our experience, if you're fortunate to come through this journey, whether you are the person in recovery or you're the people around the person in recovery, you do feel an obligation to reach out to people who are not as far down the path as you are, as perhaps some sort of lifeline, because it can feel so hopeless when you're in it. So talk about this work that you do in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, today in Sioux Falls, I provide education, coaching, and mentorship services through a company that I helped to found, and it's called Hurdle Life Coach. And at Hurdle Life, you know, the core company belief is that just like on the track, that the obstacles and barriers in life are also meant to be hurdled. And for me, as a hurdler in college and in high school, it was the vehicle that helped me to kind of rescue myself from the inner city of Omaha, Nebraska, where I grew up, around drugs, violence, and gangs, in a single parent home, substance use and dependency in the home and around me. My mother today is also in recovery of 25 years.
Wow.
To my mother, I always do
Good
that.
job, Mom.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, Mama sent. And but I seen those things. I seen that dependency and that addiction all around me. But I stumbled into this talent of hurdling as a sophomore in high school, and it carried me through college. And in college, as a first generation college student, I had this mantra saying, hurdle life, hurdle life. Don't just hurdle on the track, Terry, hurdle life. And these obstacles and barriers and challenges and grades and new friends and new environments and all these things that life puts before you in their hurdles, I told myself, hurdle life, hurdle life. And you fast forward the tape, I went through a few more experiences in my life. And then in 2016 or 2019, excuse me, incorporated the Hurdle Life Coach with that core company belief that the obstacles and barriers in life are also meant to be hurdled. So today we coach on resilience, we coach on belief, we coach on confidence and esteem. And we just try to help people to fill that void that's on the inside that drives people towards those behaviors that end up hanging us up and causing us to stumble from time to time.
That
Wow.
is so inspirational
That
and
is.
so incredible. My gosh, I'm just so moved by it, Terry, because you just don't, I mean, you probably do know who you're impacting because you're seeing, I'm assuming it's mostly young people, right? It's kind of 12 to 18-year-olds. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, our newest program is a youth program,
Okay.
but actually for the majority, I was actually doing adult reentry
Oh,
coaching, adult
okay.
transition coaching. So I've recently started to go upstream to do prevention work. And so we service both youth and adults.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
talk about that youth piece, Terry, because what these Guest Thursday conversations are so illuminating.
Yeah.
In exactly what you just said. How can we fill that void that some people choose a substance to fill? How can we help people fill it with something that's going to serve them and allow them to serve others? So talk about this preventative piece, because that's so important.
Yeah, it's very important. And it's critical too. And one thing that inspires me and motivates me today as an educator, and I educate around a few different things. I talked about resilience and things like that, but also justice and the administration of justice, and then also the importance of trauma-informed care and trauma-informed communities. And there's a whole literature on the impact of what are called adverse childhood experiences, or they're called ACEs, and there's an ACE study.
Yes.
And there's a correlation between adversity in childhood behaviors and outcomes that we help to drive here in South Dakota through the South Dakota ACEs and Resiliency Fellowship. And the number one belief at Hurdle Life is that a trauma-informed community is in the best interest of everyone. And so we provide, alongside of our partners at Children's Home Society, Center for the Prevention of Child Maltreatment, and any other organization that is willing to deepen their understanding of the importance of understanding ACEs and helping to build resilience. And so doing that work in prevention absolutely correlates with that, but it also correlates with the administration of justice. And one thing that people aren't keen to is that prevention is a part of the administration of justice, that the administration of justice does not only occur in the hands of law enforcement officers, in the walls of courtrooms, and in the walls of correctional facilities. Those are the traditional places where justice is administrated, cops, courts, and corrections. But we as community members are also a part of the administration of justice. I call it the 4 C's to the administration of justice. And within community, I've identified 7 elements that encompass a holistic community-based response to the administration of justice, and prevention and youth mentorship programs is the #1 component, the first component, going upstream and realizing that by participating in prevention, by disrupting and diverting people from even getting on these paths in the first place, if justice, the goal of justice is to create safe communities and healthy families, then if we can do one thing and one thing only, I think what we would choose to do is prevent the hurt and harm and crime from happening in the first place. So prevention is a part of the administration of justice.
Wow. So Terry, I almost am afraid to ask. You've moved into the youth program. What's the youngest age that you've encountered so far?
Formally in my program, with the age group of 11 to 17, we decided to start with high schoolers. And so now I'm dealing with about 14 to 17 in the actual program, but we have it designed to go all the way from middle school, that age 11, that pre-adolescent, all the way through high school. And I get a pretty close interaction with my twin nephews that are 12 that keep me sharp. So as an uncle, I'm also mentoring two nephews that are 12 years old, and they keep me on my toes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, I bet they do. Wow,
then,
if one is tough, two is much more than double.
Yeah, and also shouts out to my beautiful daughter, Leilani, who's 8 years old and also keeps me on my toes.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm sure she does.
That will not go away anytime soon, Terry. So continue to be comfortable on your tiptoes.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, what did you model this off of? Are there other programs that you were able to look at, or is this truly coming out of your lived experience?
Yeah.
And likely sort of a universal pipeline that said, Terry Liggins, this is your work.
Yeah. Both. And the answer is both. The short answer is both. I do believe that there are no coincidences in life, that there's only purpose and destiny. And I believe that all of my experiences have value and have contributed to what is now the Hurdle Life Coach. One of our other core mantras at Hurdle Life is not wins and losses, but that life is wins and lessons. And,
yes, I loved that so much when I watched your video yesterday. That is an unbelievable exchange of words.
Yes, absolutely. And that perspective, puts you in this place to see that those losses contributed to, enhanced you. You gained something in those experiences. You didn't necessarily lose anything. And through all those learning opportunities, you become wiser, you become more equipped, you become a flashlight, you become a compass, you become wisdom, walking wisdom for other people. And I fortunately, almost like fortunately, unfortunately, in some ways, I've stumbled so many times. Good God darn it. I just didn't have mentorship for so long. And I was stubborn for so long. And I had barriers and blockades from people impacting me for so long that I learned most of my lessons the hard way.
Yeah.
But I'm a victim of nothing. I'm a survivor of everything. And I'm on the other side. Hello, Mozzie. Get them fired up. I am on the other side of all of my experiences with lessons that I've learned. And so with that, life is not wins and losses, it's wins and lessons. That's just me choosing to have a survivor's mentality and do something with the abandonment issues that I still manage, the insecurities that I still manage, the doubts and the fears that I still manage, doing something with it to help other people. And it helps me helping other people, right? We know that, right? Pay it forward. And along the way, definitely, I just got inspired by other organizations, like Face It Together is one, but there's another amazing organization out in Salt Lake City called the Other Side Academy. That is an adult vocational 24-month minimum alternative to incarceration program that has an amazing success rate because of their intense approach to accountability and behavior change. And Dave DeRocher out there and his team and his story absolutely an inspiration to me. The Other Side Academy, I encourage you to look into them. And they have a second campus in Denver, also the Other Side Academy, Denver. And so
Okay.
they certainly inspire me in my work in believing in transformation in human beings. And then just beyond that, I do believe in criminal justice reform as an educator. As a person with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's in administration, I believe in education, and I think we can reform the system if we are empathetic for all, justice for all, compassion for all, including those that we traditionally perceive are a part of the problem. Right now, law enforcement is hard to be in law enforcement. It's hard to be a judge, hard to be a warden, hard to be white. But I'm saying, you know what? Empathy for everyone. It's not just about one demographic of people getting empathy and getting justice. We have to have empathy for everyone, and justice for everyone, and compassion for everyone. So in my approach to reform, I'm a safe place for our law enforcement officers and our court officials and and our correctional officers to talk with them about the importance of trauma, compassion, and really being good human beings. I'm about humanity and civility. Those are the things that I'm advocating for all races, all places, all faces, all people.
Wow.
Wow, that's extremely generous of you in light of where we are in so many places across the country and really across the globe. I'm curious to know what sort of state support you're getting. And I don't mean financially, but is the state investing in this work with you in terms of thinking about how to make it a holistic program, or are you really operating from your own 2 feet and
Yeah.
whoever you can bring into your sphere?
Yeah, we're a small team and a young organization. Right now, we're 1.5 on the payroll as far as being contracted, but we've got a strong board of directors. Only 4 of us, so that's even small too, and
Yep.
definitely room for growing there. We're about 2 years old as an organization, so really still in that startup phase. But we are receiving that encouragement, those invitations, and we're having those conversations to really build that bridge with the state, with our county, with our schools. None of it's fortified. All of it's very still fluid right now. But by and large, there is an openness to talking about the importance of this holistic work of justice for all.
Wow. I'm just going to say this to you now because I know you have a 9 o'clock meeting. This is a little weird because I'm gonna pull some business with you, Terry, in the middle of our conversation. But I want to make sure that I make this point so that it holds me accountable to make it happen. In my day job, I run an arts nonprofit, and I have been very, very fortunate recently to get connected with the Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank, Neil Kaskari, CEO. And he's doing work with a retired Minnesota Supreme Court judge named Alan Page around something called the Page Amendment, which is shifting education and ensuring that in Minnesota, all students are reaching their maximum, because Minnesota's really in terrible shape.
Yeah.
I'm going to connect you to them because I feel like actually your work is so tied into what they are trying to do.
Nice.
And they are in a place of a lot of power because of the nature of Neil's work and Justice Page's past.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is centered on not just Black and brown children, but children in poverty, which we know is such a huge piece of that ACE testing. So I'm saying that to everyone so that we all get to watch this hopefully turn into something.
Yeah.
Nobody watching this interview, Terry, can think, yeah, that's fine. This is one of the most inspirational, aspirational conversations I have ever been part of.
So Terry, how are you working towards getting like the frontline police officer to know about your program so they know what to do if they encounter someone who's at risk?
You know, certainly there's a desire for that, Mazi. And I'm being, in all honesty, I have my reservations on working with the traditional forms of administration of justice. There's a reason why I get so fired up talking about community, and I talk about community most, because I can get right to the community. There's less red tape there. There's less to unlearn and to address. When we're talking about community-based response to justice, we're talking about business practices, workplace cultures. We're talking about supporting parents and youth and children. We're talking about what can our churches do? What can nonprofits do? What can we do as neighbors? But also there is actually that trauma-informed policing piece, because our police officers are so embedded into our community, but it also really takes us right back into one of those traditional lanes of law enforcement. And I want to be there. But one of the things I learned about coaching, leadership, and influence is that you cannot influence a closed mind. And so first, the agency has to be open to it. The chief has to be open to it. When you give me an open mind all day long, I'll show up to have that conversation. And minds don't open without trust. You have to have trust. And there's no trust without safety. And that's why it's so important in my messaging and in my own embodiment, that I'm not angry and upset, that I am motivated and encouraged. I don't have a side. I am on the bridge. I don't pick a side. I'm on the bridge. And so when it comes to my desire, absolutely, I recognize the importance of trauma-informed policing. And I want to have those conversations where those conversations are welcomed, invited, and that everyone feels safe to engage in it.
Terry, how can people watching this get involved with you if they are so moved to take action somehow?
When we're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, now that you guys are in Fargo, right?
We are.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing what you're doing. I do want to offer this encouragement right now, and a respect and an admiration for just stepping into your own space and saying, you know what, we're doing something with our story. We're doing something with our privilege. We're doing something with our platform. That's so important and inspirational. One of the things that we need in our communities is that for people not to feel like their privilege or their access or their resources is something that they need to have a guilt for possessing. The things you are born with, you didn't choose. But when we move beyond fault and blame to just responsibility and opportunities, then we all can just help one another with things that we were born with. I don't have a regret for the conditions I was born into, because surviving those conditions have shaped me into the resilient person I am today. I have the ability to motivate and connect with others, unlike others who may not have my same conditions. So we all have different demographics and experiences. And how are we using our own resources to help other people? And you guys are doing that. And I'm grateful to be a part of it and to be here. And so I would just say to connect with me in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or what have you. If you're local, of course, find me. But we're online. We have a YouTube channel with a library of messaging that you can visit. We have our Facebook page, The Herd of Life Coach, that you can visit there as well. And then there's also myself, Terry Liggins, on Facebook and LinkedIn. But I'd be remiss to say that, if you are so moved, we are a young nonprofit organization. And in order for us to sustain what we're doing and to expand our staff and to provide more services, any type of financial support and contribution is going to help us to do that. And we're a 501c3 organization. There's a donate button on our Facebook page, or I can be reached out to directly, where you can send it right here to the Herd of Life here in Sioux Falls. But we're certainly open to receive that financial support. And if there's other ways that you can just see yourself being involved, because we offer internship opportunities and volunteer opportunities, and we need more help with marketing and people helping us push out our messaging, and we need more help with grant writing and identifying grants and locating grants. So there's that administration support. We're young, and we are certainly open to more people supporting us with either time, talent, or even any finances as a young nonprofit.
Well, Terry, we won't keep you because everybody needs a couple minutes between meetings these days. But go ahead.
Terry, I mean, we've just met, and I hope we meet again. But you are just a bright, shining lighthouse. I hope the work you do doesn't dull you in any way. You keep going.
Thank you,
It's a
Monty.
pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that, you know, we know how amazing David Weisach is.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Certain people, you just follow their lead. You never know where it's going, but you know that you're safe with them. And, you know, when David reached out and said, Terry, would you do this for friends of mine? It's like, absolutely, David, because I know you're a friend of mine who would never point me in a direction that will put me in harm's way. And what a gift he's given us to just connect. And so let's stay connected. You know, we are friends now. We have met, you know, we are connected. We are alike. And I look forward to just visiting again and talking some more. So I was happy to do this, grateful to do this, and hurdle life.
Absolutely. Oh, Terry, best of luck. And we will talk to you very, very soon. Take care. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great
Everybody
day.
else, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.